And welcome once again to another episode of S2E15 Productions presents
J&M Solve the World
After Dark.
I am James.
And I am Matt. And tonight we are going to talk about something that we obviously know a little bit about. And
Some more than others.
yeah, not, it's going to be a good time. Why don't you tell our tens of listeners what we're going to talk about tonight?
Well, as we're recording this is the first part of April, and we're not going to talk about taxes.
No.
No.
Number one stressor in this month.
Right. But first part of April, and you got all your spring sports and everything coming up. You got NASCAR underway. Major League Baseball's now underway.
Mm-hmm.
You've got NBA and NHL hockey regular seasons coming to a close, getting ready for their 6-month playoffs.
NCAA
March Madness is over with now, and thank God.
Yeah.
But then we've had WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And we got big, there's news in the AEW, and
got the draft.
The draft is coming up.
Yeah. Which is kind of funny because you say the draft and everybody knows.
Everybody knows.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not talking about, the draft. Are you talking about the WWE draft where they're going to draft people from Raw to SmackDown? Which they're going to do again this year. I just heard today.
Yep. Triple H is bringing the draft back.
Yeah. But no, everybody knows what the draft is, and that's the NFL draft.
Right. I mean, because obviously...
Of course, if you'd have said the draft back in 1975, it'd have been a whole different subject.
Right. What?
That was a military draft. My number's up. Fuck.
But
I got to go to barber school.
The war's over.
Yeah. See, when did that end? Just totally off the spring sports subject. What was it?
The official date is December 10th, 1973.
When the draft ended?
No,
that was
Vietnam.
Right. When they wasn't it under Carter?
Yeah, because it
like 77.
No.
Well, because he got elected in 76.
Yeah, that's right.
I think
Reagan got elected in 79, took office in 80.
No, he got elected in 80 and took office in 81.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it is that every 4 years thing.
Right.
I'm an idiot.
But I think it was under Carter when they done away with the draft.
Yeah.
Because I registered for it.
Like
you're supposed to. I've got a grandson. I don't know if he's registered for it or not. Last time I talked to him, he hadn't yet. It's like, well, if you want a loan, you better fucking...
When did the draft end? January 27th, 1973, with the Paris Peace Accords signed and U.S. involvement in Vietnam over, Defense Secretary Melvin R. Laird announced the end of the military draft after 25 uninterrupted years of constriction.
So that was under Ford then.
Yeah.
So I think Nixon had already resigned at that point.
And that is according to the Washington Post. But U.S. involvement in Vietnam over?
Yeah, not so much. It was like in the 74, wasn't it? 75?
Okay. Now, according to SSS.gov, Selective Service System, the last draft call was on December 7th, 1972. and the authority to induct expired on June 30th, 1973. The date of the last drawing for the lottery was on March 12th, 1975. Resignation or registration with the Selective Service System was suspended on April 1st, 1975, and registration suspended on January 27th, 1976. So, conflicting. Well, I mean, but that's...
I don't know. I was pretty young then. I don't remember.
Oh, yeah. I wasn't even alive. Let's see.
You were alive in 76.
Yeah.
You know, you want to talk about hearing shit on the news that freaked you out?
Mm-hmm.
I just seen Planet of the Apes.
Damn dirty apes.
And when the Munich hostage crisis took place, they were saying gorillas have taken over. And I was born in 66.
Right.
This is 1972. I just seen Planet of the Apes, and I heard gorillas had taken over this aircraft. I'm like, what? That shit is real? Had no idea what they were talking about. Gorillas.
Yeah.
Wasn't the fuzzy kind. It was just PLO people.
Yeah. All right. So let's start. Okay. You're a little bit more up on the NASCAR than I am.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck did Denny Hamlin do? Not that I really give a shit, because fuck Denny Hamlin, but like, I've seen his name on a lot of headlines here lately, like some controversial shit or whatnot.
Honestly, I don't know. I haven't watched the last 3 races, so
Okay.
I don't know what the controversy is. I know he hasn't made a lot of friends in his career,
Yeah.
But I'm not sure exactly what's going on with Mr. Hamlin. I've been a little busy the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Just to sit down and watch a 4-hour NASCAR race.
I saw...
I do plan on watching tomorrow because it is, as we record, it's the Bristol dirt race.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, and that'll be very interesting because, hello.
Whoops.
A lot of those guys don't like the dirt, but
Because a lot of those guys didn't race in the dirt.
Right. Yeah, they were all asphalt guys from the start. But if you notice, a lot of the drivers that can drive under any condition are the guys that drove on dirt.
Give it up for 3.
And 20, well, back in the day when it was Tony Stewart.
Number 8.
Yep.
Or 88.
Mm-hmm.
However you want to look at it.
Although when Jeff Gordon was racing Silver Crowns on the dirt, and Gordon's dad asked Dale Earnhardt, he said, "So what does my son need to do to make it to NASCAR?" He said, "Get him off this fucking dirt."
Yeah.
Because you got to learn how to drive on asphalt if you're going to drive NASCAR.
Right.
It's a different game.
Dirt racing, yeah.
I mean, dirt racing is very entertaining. You go down to Lucas Oil Speedway or in the dirt tracks locally, and you're like, how can you pile those 850 horsepower cars all into the corner at once and make it through? But they do. It's like
Outlaws.
Yeah. Oh, God, yeah.
But, I mean, dirt track, NASCAR.
I wish what they would do on the Dirt Bristol race instead of driving their cup cars that they race everywhere else, I wish they'd go ahead and put them in dirt late models with their number and their sponsorships and all that. Kind of like they used to do. They used to have a race up at Eldora Speedway, which Tony Stewart owns. It was called the Prelude to the Dream.
Okay.
And the Dream's the big late model dirt race there every year. But they had this thing called the Prelude, which was a benefit race. Mm-hmm. And they brought in guys from NASCAR, from NHRA, from the Dirt Series, the World of Outlaws. I think there was even a motorcycle guy or two, you know. And they put them in dirt late models.
Right.
With their color schemes and everything. And they went out, and it was like a Saturday night. You know, you had your heat races and everything, and then your main event and everything. And it was very interesting to see because I can't remember the guy's name now, but he was from NHRA, and he was pretty salty on the fucking dirt and dirt late model.
Not John Force.
No, I can't. No, he wasn't one of the Colettas or Force, one of the big guys. But I mean, he was a prominent NHRA driver, but I can't remember his name.
Not a Schumacher.
No.
Kenny
Schumacher? No.
Yeah.
I don't remember who it was, but anyway, he surprised you. You know, he's a guy that used to go in 3.5 seconds at 300 mile an hour. Mm-hmm. But he's wheeling this fucking dirt car around. You know.
Nice.
But no, I haven't really kept up on the. I mean, I watched Daytona and everything because it's fucking February. It's cold. You can't do anything outside.
Well, and you know. You are having just.
I know. Got to suck on these cigars a little bit.
Yeah. But I mean, you know, Daytona is a lot like the Super Bowl.
Well, it is NASCAR Super Bowl, but it's the first game of the season.
Right. Well, no, what I mean is it's like everybody watches Daytona. Mm-hmm. Everybody watches the Super Bowl.
Right.
Not everybody watches the World Series.
Right.
Because it's 7 games.
Right.
Not everybody watches the NBA Finals because
it could be 7 games.
Right.
NHL hockey, same way.
Yeah.
I mean, I get burned out. I'm not a basketball fan, so I hear enough about it just on sports talk or regular flip over to ESPN, and you're like, oh, seriously, we're talking basketball? And their season don't start for 2 months.
Right.
But and their playoffs last almost as long as the damn season does.
Exactly. I mean, because you've got each division, and the division games are only 6.
5.
Oh, yeah.
Because you could have 6, because you could have a tie.
Yeah, that's right.
It's best of.
But, you know.
There's some old-timers like Ned Reynolds from NBC Sports or Channel 3 in Springfield. He hates the new baseball playoff system with the 2 extra wild card teams and everything. He said, I liked it best when the American League, whoever had the best record in the American League, played the team with the best record in the National League in the World Series. Yeah. That was the playoffs.
Yeah.
You had your best regular season record from the American League, best regular season from the National League. But it's all about money. I mean, because the more playoff games you have, the more the networks make, you know. But I don't know the exact stats, but I'd be curious to know whether the amount of people that watch the Super Bowl would not supersede the amount of people that watch all 4 to 7 games of the World Series, or 4 to 7 games of the NBA Finals, or 4 to 7 games. I know they beat hockey in the United States. Easy. Yeah. I mean, the Super Bowl probably is about as much people as watch hockey the whole season. And that's nothing against hockey. I like hockey.
Yeah.
I mean, when the Blues won the Stanley Cup, I got invested in it. I got to watching it. It's like, this is pretty fucking exciting, you know?
Yeah. And To me, hockey is one of those sports that you've got to be there to like. It's the whole atmosphere.
Right.
NASCAR.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Same thing. It's like you have to be there for it to be worth anything.
Because
baseball, you need to be in the park.
Right. Yeah, you need to smell the popcorn, and NASCAR, you need to smell the rubber burning and the fuel. And
you need to feel
that
fucking 1,000 horsepower passing in front of you.
Oh yeah.
Or 43,000, if you will, when 43 cars pass you.
Well, they're not pushing that much horsepower today.
Not now.
They're down to 650s, something like that. But still, when they say gentlemen,
start your engine.
I'm sorry, drivers, start your engines.
Yeah.
And I think it's a 40 car field now, but it's like when all of them start up, it's like, especially I went to Bristol back in 03.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. When they were under caution, it sounded like a tornado was on top of you. And when they dropped the green flag, it got so fucking loud. I mean, you had to have earplugs or the track scanners or headphones of some kind over your ears, or you would have been deaf when you left there. There was just no way.
My first NASCAR experience, it was still the Winston Cup.
Mm-hmm.
And watching a race, we went out to a race in Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
And our paint sponsors was DuPont.
Right.
And, of course, my older brother was a Rainbow Warrior fan.
Mm-hmm.
He was a Rainbow Warrior.
Yep.
And so we got corporate passes back there in Corporate Village, the DuPont tent, and you see Jeff Gordon with his wife and
the first wife that took you for half your shit.
Yeah. Well, okay, this was in 99.
Okay, I don't remember which wife. They looked a lot alike. He had a type.
I want to say this was Stewart's rookie season.
99, yeah.
Yeah.
It would have been.
Because Stewart won the race there in Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
But, it was seeing Dale and Jeff, like, going at it.
Right.
Trading paint.
Mm-hmm.
Rubbin's racing.
And
he
didn't hit you. He didn't slam you. He rubbed you.
That's right.
And Rubbin's racing.
Cold Trickle.
Harry Hogg.
Fuck. Rowdy.
Rowdy Burns.
Yeah.
Yep.
I wanted to say Rowdy Yates, but
yeah, I know.
He's an old blues man.
Is he a blues man or a fucking rodeo guy? Rowdy Yates was a rodeo guy, wasn't he?
I'm trying to think because there's the line from, y'all know Rawhide? Yeah, old Rowdy Yates tune. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Blues Brothers.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. What key? A. Good country key.
Really? I thought D was a country key. D, C, and G.
Well, okay. That line was in Blues Brothers 2000 when they were at the county fair and going into Riders.
Mm-hmm.
And that was Donald Duck Dunn. It was A. Good country key. But then again, I mean, he had a classic, completely off the spring sports subject, but he had one of my favorite lines in a movie, and it pertains a lot to us, regardless of what anybody wants to think, but we had a sound powerful enough to turn goat piss into gasoline. That's pretty fucking...
Yep.
I mean, not to toot my own horn or anything, but we're pretty badass.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, the music you hear coming into the podcast and going out of the podcast is off of our CD that we wrote back in. We recorded in 1997.
Yes.
In the country music capital of the world, Branson, Missouri.
Yeah. And I tell you what,
at that time especially.
Yeah. Minus the hookers and the blow, we had a pretty awesome fucking
2-day recording session.
Yes.
I remember our engineer talking. He's like, "Man, I wish you guys had a bigger budget because I'd really love for you guys to be here for a few weeks or months, and we could really make this sound huge, you know. Go in and record extra guitar lines and all that shit." And
I remember he told stories. He was living in Kansas City, and Wasp came into town, and they would fucking stay at his place, and Chris Holmes and Blackie Lawless would have to duck coming in the doorway.
Yeah,
because they were that big.
Yeah, well, they still had their boots on.
Yeah. But Chris Holmes was a big dude anyways.
Oh, yeah.
So, okay.
Full-blown alcoholic.
Oh, my God. The Decline of Western Civilization, Part 2, The Metal Years.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck, there were so many empty bottles lying around him in his swimming pool with his mom right there on the side of the pool.
Right. So what'd you think I know you haven't watched it all, but you've heard the results or anything. What'd you think about WrestleMania?
So the main event didn't surprise me. I've watched enough of Roman, and I got it. It's all about getting that heat and keeping that heat. But it's to me, the character just seems like he's becoming a bitch.
Well, he's a heel, so you know.
No, I got that.
But
you're
it's like Cornette said though. You built Cody up, made a big comeback. You know, been at the other company, started the other company.
Yeah.
And he's hotter than fuck. Is he going to get any hotter?
Right.
You know, I was watching something on YouTube today, and they were talking about the angle on Monday night with Brock Lesnar. And apparently that's been in the works for over a month.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, but, you know, and I get it. I've been a wrestling fan since I can remember watching wrestling, and
a minute or two.
I remember leaving the Shrine Moss many nights just pissed as fuck because my favorites got fucked. Mm-hmm. You know, in a way like Cody got fucked. But they can only get fucked so much where you're like going, yeah, who gives a fuck about that guy?
Right.
Is it going to come down? I mean, you know, night one was pretty fucking good. I mean, Rhea Ripley
beating Charlotte.
It was probably her time. That's probably what needed to happen.
Yep.
Rhea Ripley she looks the part.
Yeah.
I mean, she's got the look. She's got the athleticism. You know, she can carry this for a while.
Right,
and Charlotte, you know, she's getting a little older. You know, and not that she can't come back and maybe beat her in a third match or whatever, but yeah, I mean, Rhea Ripley, she's one of them scary chicks that you still like to fuck.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and God, I read an article about it, or I saw it was like WrestleMania or something like that.
Right.
Talking about wrestlers that changed their character and became better. And Rhea Ripley is one of them.
Yeah.
Because she was like a debutante, sort of,
Okay.
complete opposite what she is now.
What, like NXT or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I mean, even on the main roster, she was still like that, and she took some time and did the dyeing, got the tattoos, and like reinvented herself.
Right.
And it was just like, oh, fuck.
And she's got the size too. She's believable.
Yes.
Unlike Riho in AEW, who was their first champion, who's a 86-pound Japanese girl. Mm-hmm. It's like, and they bill her as she's been wrestling. She's only 25 years old, but she's been wrestling for over 10 years and and has all these moves. It's like she's 86 pounds.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Right.
She don't look like Bruce Lee.
No. Well, and okay. Speaking of which, Hall of Fame induction of Rey Mysterio, which of course we know him as Rey Mysterio Jr.
Right.
But Conan did his induction. Fucking awesome.
Right.
Arriba la raza.
Orale.
Orale. And he talked about, taking him around to the different promotions and got to WCW, and their tagline at the time is "Where the big boys play."
But they also had that junior heavyweight division.
It wasn't prominent at that time.
But when it got to Nitro and shit.
Oh yeah.
That was part of the draw to WCW back then, was that junior heavyweight division. And you had Dean Malenko and Chris Benoit and Eddie Guerrero and Ray and LaPark.
Jericho. And
yeah.
And it was, and I find it interesting that
Juventud Guerrera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was given that dark match, and by the end of the match, all the boys in the back were around the fucking monitor, just watching.
Right.
And and it's just fucking the bullshit angle where they took his mask.
Yeah.
That was bullshit. And then of course there's photos of him without his mask, and he can't be a luchador without his mask. And
well, he wrestled several months in WCW without his mask on.
Right.
There's lots of photos. There's video.
Yeah, right. But it's like, who cares?
Mm-hmm. He's never been without the mask in WWE.
That is correct. He has never been without the mask, known as just Rey Mysterio.
Right. But he's one of them small guys that when he won the title at WWE, it was believable because, yeah, he's short, but the sumbitch is put together. And he had the moveset.
Right. His speed, some of the matches, come on, him beating Paul White.
Right.
I'm sorry, I don't give a shit how strong you are, how.
Well, fuck, the Undertaker talked about it on Rogan's podcast. Ray was one of the guys that broke his orbital bone.
Was?
Yeah. It was a leg drop or something. Leg drop off the top.
Because I know.
Then the other one was Yokozuna, wasn't it?
No. It was Mabel, as he was King Mabel, broke the first one. No, it was Mabel, and it was Yokozuna.
I thought one of them was Ray.
I'll have to go back and look at it.
Yeah,
but because
it was a mistake. It wasn't a
because I know when Mabel
one of them was a clothesline that was fucked up or something, wasn't it?
I know with Mabel, he sat on him, and that's when he wore the Phantom of the Opera mask.
See, and Mabel, Kevin Nash said that motherfucker should have never been in the ring.
Yeah.
Because he done that set down on Kevin Nash, the small of his back. Mm-hmm. When Nash was Diesel.
Yep.
And he said, I thought I was fucking done.
Yeah.
Because he came down full force with his 460 plus pounds or whatever right on the small of his back.
Because even Yoko, he made it a point. He wouldn't hurt you.
Right.
On purpose.
Right.
And I don't think that he would have done something purposely to hurt Taker.
Right.
Because they were part of the BSK.
Right.
They were founding members of BSK.
I was watching the Bret Hart on Broken Skull.
Yeah.
And Bret was talking about how he was really proud that he never hurt anybody in the ring.
Right.
And Stone Cold's like, I can't say that.
Right.
Because he accidentally did,
Yeah.
But Bret made his shit look so fucking good that you're going, God damn, he's killing them motherfuckers.
Right. And that was like Foley's talked about it. Mm-hmm. And Sting has talked about it, about Foley. And Foley, when he was a jobber, he made it a point. It was protect the talent. Mm-hmm. And he would sacrifice himself, mm-hmm. which he fucking made a career out of it.
Oh, yeah.
But it was always for the good of the show.
I was like, Cornette was talking about seeing him down at the Sportatorium when he was Cactus Jack. and Bruiser Brody fucking powerbombed him on the outside of the ring.
Yep.
And he's walking up the steps back to the locker room, and Cornette's like, Mickey, you all right? And he's like, hawked out a big loogie, and it was half blood. And he's like, yep, I'm pretty good. He said, it was all blood down there. He's like, you don't have to do that. He goes, yeah, I do, Corny. Because I don't have the look or the moves to become a superstar. I've got to do something different.
Right. And it was, hell, it wasn't until he became Mankind did he stop doing the elbow drop off the apron. Because when they were doing the gearing up for the Mankind, mm-hmm. I forget who it was saying that he needed to come up with a new finisher because, they wanted to get away from the Cactus Jack. And
that's when he came up with the Mandible Claw.
Right. And at first, God, I can't remember who it was, but they were like, oh, that'll never work because they'll just bite your hand. But Mick sought out an actual physician, and the physician was like, they would not be able to because you put the pressure up as you're putting the pressure down, and you've got a hold of that fucking jaw.
Right, and especially if you put the pressure under the tongue.
Right.
Legitimately, you can't close your mouth.
Right.
Right. Dr. Britt Baker uses that maneuver today.
Once Mick switched over to Mr. Sacco, I'd tap out as soon as it got close to my mouth.
Yeah, especially that sock came out of the front of his fucking thighs.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, goddamn.
Oh, fuck, Mick. Did you shower today?
Get some Manscaped shit going on and get some ball deodorant. What the fuck?
Yeah. We've gone down the wrestling.
Yeah. But now the Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens winning.
Yeah.
From the Usos, you just kind of had a feeling. It's like, oh shit, Cody's going to win now. Mm-hmm. The Usos are going to be with, the bloodline's going to be without titles.
Right.
So what's going to happen there? Are they going to turn on each other or something? But now it's like, yeah, okay. So we're going into Cody and Brock. So
yeah.
Okay. Big news in AEW. Apparently the Dax and FTR have apparently re-signed with AEW because they won the titles instead of losing if we lose, we will leave AEW.
Yeah.
So then they signed Jay White, who's a former Bullet Club president in New Japan.
Okay.
Good looking athlete. Haven't seen a whole lot of him, so we'll see what the booking does with him in AEW. But and they also announced they're going to do a Wembley show in August.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's like a 90,000 seat
Yeah.
building.
Yeah.
Their biggest show so far has been about 24,000 at the Arthur Ashe Stadium.
You're right. Now, I wonder if they'll do it like a lot of promotions say they're doing Madison Square Garden.
Mm.
Well, they're not doing the Garden.
There's only one Wembley Stadium.
Right.
And the last show at Wembley Stadium was WWF. I don't remember which pay-per-view it was, but it was like 1992. And they showed pictures of it, and it's like, yeah, that's a big fucking crowd. It was 92 or 98, something like that.
When was the last wrestling show at Wembley Stadium?
But there's a few things they're talking about that might be some big hits and big draws, is if that is the return of CM Punk.
The show, which is being called AEW All In London, will mark the first time Wembley Stadium has hosted professional wrestling since WWE SummerSlam 1992.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was the Bret Hart versus the Bulldog for the Intercontinental Championship.
Yeah. And that's... okay. Let's... I mean, baseball is still too early to...
Get excited about.
Yeah.
You know. I follow it. Cardinals won? Sweet.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I get the updates. Like ESPN, I've got my teams chosen, but then because I live in Kansas City, I get the updates on the Royals and the Chefs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Of course, another sport that's getting pretty exciting right now is the XFL.
Yeah.
Especially if you're a St. Louis Battlehawks fan. Caca! Because they just won again today in their first XFL overtime game. And they are 6-2.
Well, let's find out.
One game behind the DC Defenders, I think.
Come on, damn it.
I think if I remember what they said was right, if they win next week, they are in the playoffs no matter what. They've clinched a spot.
Yeah. The Battlehawks are 6-2. The Vegas Vipers are 2-6.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. The Arlington Renegades are 4-4, and the Washington Guardians or the Orlando Guardians.
Washington's the Defenders, I believe.
Yeah. Now the Guardians are 1-7, and it looks like the Renegades barely beat them. 18-16.
The Guardians from.
Let's see here. I'm trying to. It's not allowing Orlando. I don't know. Yeah, Orlando. Arlington and Orlando. Yeah. Orlando Guardians. Tomorrow is the Roughnecks and the Brahmas and the Defenders and the Sea Dragons.
Okay. The XFL North. The DC Defenders are 6-1.
Mm-hmm.
The Battlehawks are 6-2. The Seattle Sea Dragons are 5-2. which they play tomorrow apparently.
Yeah.
And the Vipers are 2-6. The South, the Roughnecks from Houston are 4-3. The Renegades are 4-4. The Brahmas, I can't.
Alabama, I think.
San Antonio.
San Antonio.
San Antonio Brahmas are 2-5. And the Orlando Guardians are 1-7.
Yay.
So, my biggest take is I am so proud to see that St. Louis has got the biggest fucking crowds. And which I think is kind of a fuck you to Stan Kroenke for moving the fucking Rams out of St. Louis.
Well, I mean,
Because he's like going, well, St. Louis ain't a football city. Well, they're selling more tickets than you did the last 10 years you were in St. Louis because you were trying to, because you wanted to move them, so you put a shitty team on the field.
right. Yeah.
I mean, during the greatest show on turf, you couldn't buy a fucking ticket to St. Louis. From 99 to 2002, you couldn't buy a ticket unless you knew somebody that had tickets and they didn't want to go that day.
I know a guy who knows a guy.
I know a guy.
Oh, speaking of, not really, Missouri sports, the plan for the Royals moving
Downtown?
Yeah.
Okay.
Gonna go where the old Kansas City Star building is.
Okay.
Big glass building.
Oh, okay.
But it's gonna stretch over 670.
Okay.
Yeah. All 6 lanes of 670. The stadium is going right there.
So they're diverting all that traffic somehow.
I don't know.
That'd be kind of entertaining if they had the freeway going through the stadium while they were trying to play ball.
Well, I mean,
rollerball.
Brewster's Million. They had a train out in the outfield.
There you go. It's a high fly to left field. It's going. Psh. Yep, it got a windshield.
If they don't move the crown, there's something fucking wrong. The crown that's outside of Kaufman, that's, world champions, 1985, 2015.
Well, why wouldn't they move it?
Why would they? The area that...
I mean, they are the Royals, so it's a crown, so
right.
Why wouldn't they move that?
I don't know. Because some people are stupid.
And then there's that.
Now, I know Lamar Hunt has said that the Chiefs won't move anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
As a matter of fact, the stadium will always be known as Arrowhead, regardless of who sponsors, bought
blah,
it,
blah, blah, at Radiohead. Or at Arrowhead, Radiohead.
Right. Yeah.
Arrowhead.
I'm a creep.
Because I heard that, I forget who it was from Kansas City Star. I was listening to the local sports when they were talking about that. And he said, I don't see the Chiefs ever moving. He said, I do see the Royals moving downtown. He said, just because it's an 82 game schedule at home.
Yep.
And if you go downtown, that it's a walk up for a lot of people. But he said, I look for them to make the Chiefs not only Arrowhead, but it'd be like the Chiefs complex and like maybe build some hotels and stuff in that area,
Well,
or maybe a casino or whatever the fuck, just restaurants and.
Well, it won't be a casino yet.
Make it a destination type deal.
Too far away from
the river. Right.
Yeah.
Unless it's Indian. They could put an Indian casino in there.
Yeah, but I think that has to be on tribal land, though.
Hell, maybe.
I think so because...
we could probably go back in history and find that some tribe owned that land.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure.
I guarantee you, if they go back far enough, they can figure out that.
Right.
Oh hell, the Opis, who lived here back in 1650, owned this land, or whoever the fuck, you know.
Right. But well, any Indian casino I've ever,
if it's gonna draw money, they'll figure out a way.
Right. But I mean, you know, none of the, because there's hotels on the other side of I-70 from the sports complex, and they hadn't done anything.
Right. But you figure if they demolish Kaufman and put a couple hotels in there right by Arrowhead,
I think demolishing Kaufman would be the worst thing to do. Because
what are you going to do with it if the team leaves, though?
Offered up. What you do with it is it becomes, like it is, a concert venue. Guns N' Roses is playing Kaufman this fall. Okay. So now...
But any of them big bands come through later would play the stadium.
A few moments later.
No, I would say those bands like that, I mean, Kaufman would be perfect, because if it's a non-football day, you got that big ass fucking parking lot. You're able, because playing Arrowhead, you know, you're only able to sell so many tickets. You know, there's so much prep out on the field, and you're not having anybody behind you. You know, you're limited on your tickets. Whereas Guns N' Roses playing Kaufman, not only are there seats on the field, but they're selling out the whole fucking stadium. So you could pretty much be all the way up in the nosebleeds underneath a roof. So if it does rain, you're not getting rained on.
But at Arrowhead, though, you could do it in the round in the middle of the football field.
True, you could.
Which I think is what the show we're going to see in St. Louis at the Dome.
Yep.
Joe, Metallica, Pantera,
Mammoth WVH, Five Finger Death Punch, Ice Nine Kills. Yeah.
I mean, I think they're doing an in the round stage in the middle of the field.
Yeah.
And Arrowhead holds a lot more people than Kaufman.
Right.
This is what, 80,000, and Kaufman's what, 46, 43?
Yeah. But, I mean...
Not counting the seats on the field, but I mean...
Right. But,
I mean... fire marshal laws come in and go, no, there's still 46,000. You can have all you want to here, but you can't fill up all these seats up here.
Now...
Because you still got to get that many people out in case of a fire.
Right. Now, here's an idea. You can say you're playing Arrowhead, but then let's say your ticket sales aren't that great. Well, you move it to the other side of the parking lot, and now you're playing Kaufman, and especially if you're doing a video, you know, you've just sold. Now it looks like you've got a packed fucking house. I don't know.
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
It's a...
I mean, because I would love to see a concert at Kaufman while sitting in the pool. In the outfield. Maybe not in October. But,
I was going to say not October or December, but...
No.
Unless it's a big hot tub.
I don't see me seeing an outdoor concert at that time frame anyways.
I do.
Fuck that.
Cancun, Mexico. Why not? Baja.
In Kansas City, I don't see me seeing an outdoor concert. I mean, hell, even when we saw Anthrax and Black Label, it was August, and I was I was happy as shit we were inside because
Oh
it
yeah,
was
it
air
was hot as
conditioned.
fuck.
Yeah.
So we talked about the NFL draft on the last podcast.
Yep.
Neither one of us really know about the draft class people coming up. But,
No.
but that's a big sports deal, and your company's going to run all the wire for it.
Yep.
So
I
you're
will
gonna
be there. Yeah.
Yep.
And I'm hoping that once we get our credentials, we get, in theory, we should be able to keep them because we had to get photos done and the whole 9 yards. And like no hats in the photos, no sunglasses, no reflective glasses. So, of course, wearing a hat all day, and then all of a sudden, oh, you can't wear a hat. Fuck. And I
See, if you go with this look here, if you go with the shave, just the buzz look here, you don't have to worry about hat head.
Yeah.
Or bed head, or window down head, or none of that shit. You're good.
Yeah, but
Your problem is if I got a hat on all day at work, I have hat seam.
but I love it when a significant other runs their fingers and their hands through my hair.
Yeah. That's why I don't shave my chest.
Touche. Touche. Yeah. Calling Travis Kelce the Yeti. He ain't got shit. I think James and Andy both are just fucking...
Especially back hair.
Andy's just like a silverback gorilla.
Yeah. Yeah, you expect him to go anytime.
Well, I mean, he does talk like that, but
Well, yeah, sometimes. Depends on how much scotch he's been drinking.
I digress.
We can say this about him because he's on our podcast, but he don't listen.
Yeah.
Yeah. We talk shit.
Got no worry about Ray fucking giving us backlash. I mean,
Shout out, Andrew.
He hasn't even sat down and watched Red Dawn like Dwight told him to.
Yeah, no kidding. What's up with that?
Patrick fucking Swayze.
He didn't even watch the new Red Dawn movie.
I haven't watched that one. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm trying to remember if I've watched it or not. Watched the original a bunch.
It ranks right up there with stuff that I have no desire to do.
Have you watched the new Point Break?
No.
I have. It's a pretty much totally different story.
Right.
It's like I'm still. I was curious about the remake of Roadhouse with Ronda Rousey as the
Swayze
Dalton character.
Yeah.
But apparently that fell through. But they're still talking about making a reboot of Roadhouse. And I'm like,
oh, it's happening.
yeah.
Jake Gyllenhaal is playing the Dalton character.
Is he?
And his last boxing movie, holy fuck.
Which one was that?
Was it Southpaw?
Southpaw?
I think.
That was an excellent movie. I watched that.
He got fucking jacked.
Yeah.
And so much so that professional boxers were like, "Holy shit, dude!"
Mm-hmm.
And they asked him, he was on some show, if he had kept up with that training, and he's like, "No, I did that for 3 months leading into it. We shot all the fight scenes within the first 2 weeks, and then everything after that was like, I didn't completely fall off the wagon, but I was able to live my life.
Yeah.
But he still had that size,
Right.
and I think Jake Gyllenhaal, I think do a pretty decent role.
Who's going to play the Terry Funk character, though?
Who's going to play the Sam Elliott part?
Well, then there's that.
I mean,
I was just trying to think what wrestler that's in their mid-40s could do that Terry Funk character.
Undertaker.
He's too fucking big. He's too fucking big. I'm thinking somebody like a Fit Finley or something like that, maybe.
I'm thinking somebody like Stone Cold, or even a Kevin Owen.
Yeah.
Because Kevin's not jacked.
Right.
He looks like an everyman.
Right. Looks like he'd be bouncing at a little bar outside of Kansas City.
Right.
Yeah.
Which, going off of the movie and living there and the geographic background and everything, how far outside of fucking Kansas City are they?
Yeah.
On the Missouri side.
Right.
So, I mean, that...
What was the name of the little town? I'm trying to remember now. Does it even exist?
No. Well, I don't know. Let's.
I think it does.
Let's go to the Google machine. What is the name of the town in Roadhouse?
Jasper. Jasper. That just popped in my head.
Yep. Where was the town Jasper in Roadhouse? Missouri. Duh. Was built strictly for the filming on location in California and then was torn down. Some of the interior were shot, however, in a real bar in Anaheim that has since closed. City of Jasper Chamber of Commerce.
So that's what in the movie when he gets his apartment over the barn.
Yeah. And
I'm like going, yeah, you don't want to be there in the wintertime. Because that shit was open. It's like, if you get there in May or June and live there till September, that'd be okay.
Yeah. Okay, where the fuck is it, though?
Missouri, Jasper, Missouri?
Yeah.
Really?
Trucked down Jasper's Main Street. The road was no, okay. Okay, so we'll go back here.
Go to Google Maps, Jasper, Missouri.
Where is Jasper, Missouri? Okay, we'll go to the map here. Oh. Down I-49, better known as 71 Highway.
Mm-hmm.
Where are we at? Lamar Heights? No. Mother Trucker's Pizza. Oh. Gearhead's Garage. Huh? South of Lamar.
Oh, so on the other end of the state.
Yeah. Down
by Joplin.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just a little outside of Kansas City.
Well, yeah.
And I can see living in that loft a little bit longer than you could up in Kansas City.
Not that far. Nevada. Yeah, it's south of Lamar.
Okay. So it's closer to Joplin than it is Kansas City.
Yeah.
Well, that one guy, is like, I got a friend in Springfield that he's like, you going to testify against him? What does it say? I got a friend in Springfield that works for the DA or something like that.
Yeah. North of I-44.
Just barely.
Yeah.
Okay.
north of Carthage.
North? Okay, yeah.
Yeah. There's Jasper.
Yep.
There's I-44 right there. Or
Oh.
Carthage. 44's down there, but yeah,
Right,
there's Carthage.
Yep.
Yeah. Looking at this map.
If I lived in Jasper, I would open a bar called the Double Deuce. There probably
Yeah.
was one.
I mean, why is there not a statue of fucking Patrick Swayze?
doing the Tai Chi in his sweats. You know?
Or, I mean, do they at least have a blind guitar player?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
at least Philadelphia had a fucking statue of Rocky up there
yeah.
for years.
Oh, they still do.
They still do. They moved it though from the
steps?
from the top of the steps. They moved it down somewhere else. But
yeah, apparently somebody in Philadelphia was putting jerseys, opposing team jerseys on the Rocky statue. Because there was rumors that a Chiefs fan went to Philly and put a Chiefs jersey after the Chiefs won the Super Bowl.
Oops.
Yeah, that didn't
Brave
happen.
soul. You've attempted to do that.
Somebody in Philly had entirely too much money to go spend on a chef's jersey and put it on a statue.
Right.
I don't know. Well, I mean, I think we've started talking spring sports. Came around to
a little bit, you know. The Masters is this weekend. It's been kind of rain delayed, but don't look like Tiger's going to win this year.
No.
He made the cut though,
right?
Which tied him for the record of 23 years in a row of making the cut at the Masters. So.
But how many green jackets does he have? Enough.
He's got several.
Yeah.
I can't remember the number. 8.
He's got a couple of gold jackets.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's only 2 majors wins shy of Jack.
Yeah.
And with his recent car wreck and stuff, I don't see him breaking that. But
I will say it is good to see that he's starting to get his sponsors back.
Yeah.
He's back with Nike.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, the last car wreck I don't think had anything to do with him running away from his wife, chasing him with the fucking 5-iron. First one, yeah, possibly.
Yeah. I mean, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
You find out that your significant other's been sleeping with a plethora.
Perkins waitresses. We've talked about this in the past. It's like, with the kind of money he had,
mm-hmm.
and you know he had handlers.
Yeah.
Why couldn't he went professional? Kept their mouth shut.
Yeah.
But no, you get a Perkins waitress, she's on the way out. She's going to talk.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean,
I don't have that kind of money, but
no.
But it's like, what the fuck, Tiger? You know? It's like Ron White talked about it. And his wife was bitching to that fucking Tiger Woods. She's fucking me. He's like, hey. So I was defending him after the first 2 or 3. And then after 12, 13, 14 come out, and he's like, damn, Tiger. He said, but he's like, yeah, he's cheating on his wife with all these women and everything. And he's like, well, Bob down the street cheated on his wife 1 time. I'm like, yeah, but that was his only time he had it offered to him.
Yeah.
Tiger's been offered that shit like 350 million times, and he's only slept with 25. That's love.
I mean,
he loved his wife.
Yeah. It's like Jesse James. When his marriage from Sandra Bullock dissolved because he was sleeping with some porn star actress, and it's like, bro.
Yeah.
Bro. You lived in Long Beach, man.
Yeah.
Vegas ain't that far.
Right.
And granted, you know, he didn't have the money like some other celebrities, but still.
He had enough for a couple $100.
Yeah.
Wanted to go to Bunny Ranch.
Yeah.
Keep it on the down low.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, come on. You built $75,000, $80,000 motorcycles.
Yeah. But, you know, I think...
when you're with a Sandra Bullock or a Jennifer Aniston or anybody, what the fuck? I mean...
Well, he was married to Sandy.
I know.
Crazy. But on that note, you have just listened to another episode of S2E15 Productions Presents
J&M, Solve the World
After Dark.
I have been James.
And I've been Matt. And until next time, you keep one fist in the gold, one foot in the gutter, and we will be seeing you.
Peace.